Hello everyone, my name's Ken Burns. I'm chair of the flight department here at Embry-Riddle's Daytona Beach campus. I wanted to spend a few minutes today talking about aircraft resources with you. I know there's a lot of questions on the current fleet size, and the factors that go into that. And I want to give you some insight as to what we're doing behind the scenes to improve aircraft availability for our students. First, let's review the number of students we actually have here in the flight program. And what you're looking at here is a chart from the first week in fall all the way to the last week of the year. And each one of those lines is a different academic year. And you can see the orange line that goes all the way across at the top. That's last academic year. We had a significant increase in student population last year. And obviously we had to add resources. We added some aircraft last year to the fleet in order to meet that demand. So what is going on this year? If you look, you can see that black line there. That's so far this year. And we actually started the semester with less students than the year before. And we did that on purpose because we wanted to provide better customer service to the students when they first got here. So we reduced the amount of students that can start flying initially. And then we introduced more halfway through the semester. And that's why you see that black line jump. But the top of that black line there is about level with where we were last year at the beginning of the semester. So we are about 1,290 students right now, and that's exactly where we were at the beginning of fall 2017 as well. So we don't really have more students per se in the flight training area. However, we are flying a lot more hours, and this chart will show you that. You can see the months of September and October there. That's the data over the past 4 years. The purple bars are this year, 2018. And if you look at September of 2017, you can see we didn't fly that many hours. We had somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 hours. We did have a little hurricane that came through the state, so that kind of reduced it a bit. But we were really expecting more of what you see the year prior, as a little bit higher than the year prior in the red. Very surprised this year to fly almost 9,000 hours in the month of September. It's basically 3,000 hours above where we were 2 years ago. It's a significant jump. That's a third more hours. We don't have a third more students than we did 3 years ago, so it's significant. So what's causing that? It's interesting to talk about. And you can see October is similar, so we're up to about 8,000 hours. This equates to about 160 hours per airplane per month, and that is a lot of time to put on each airplane. We'll talk more about that in a few. Those numbers that you see on top, that's the number of airplanes that we had at that given time. We did reduce the fleet a bit since last year, and that's due to our Piper Arrow fleet. It is no longer part of the curriculum. There were 8 aircraft in the Piper Arrow fleet, and the Pipers only flew during daylight hours for commercial training, and with a change in the commercial curriculum, we decided, well, we're going to have to get more Cessnas. So we removed those 8 Arrows, added 5 Cessnas, and that would have made up for the hours flown. The Arrows only flew about 800 hours a month total across 8 airplanes, which isn't really a lot of time. What has caused this jump in hours? We believe it's increased student motivation. A lot less students get sick, ground themselves, and the like. They're more motivated to get through the program. And it's because there's jobs, there's paying jobs on the other end. And they see that light at the end of the tunnel and they want to get out there. We also tried a new private pilot scheduling system, which has worked pretty good for the students, which I'll review in a few minutes, but it has definitely increased the demand on our system. And as I said, we got rid of the Piper Arrows. We changed the commercial curriculum. We actually reduced the time in the commercial course. And because there was only one airplane in it, we hypothesized that there would be less extra training events occurring in there as well. So far, that's been the case. But that's one of the reasons for possible hours. Increased retention is another one. Students are staying, again, there's jobs, so they know that once they are done, they have a paying job, a good paying job on the other end. Talking more about the new scheduling system we implemented, this is for private pilot students coming in. Proficiency during your initial flight training is critical, and we want to provide better customer service to our students, so we developed a system where they fly more often. And what you're looking at here, each blue line is a student, and that's how far they are. There's 45 units in the private, and you can see that's some of them, obviously, but you can see how they're moving through the curriculum pretty rapidly. And what does this do to the scheduling system? Well, at the beginning of the courses, there's a lot of orals and simulators, and then later on in the course, it's mostly airplane units. And that's where a lot of these students are right now. So in years past, the aircraft demand would have been spread out into the springtime for these students, and we're seeing it now earlier, which has caused an increase in hours. We also have a big push to finish continuing students that are in our system, students that are still in the private or commercial course. We're focusing on them to try and get them through so that they can move into instrument or they can move into the multi-engine side of the house. So working on that. So what do these hours do to our system? It has a significant impact all around. One of the biggest impacts is felt on our maintenance department. Our maintenance folks, we have our own maintenance, fleet maintenance. There's over 30 technicians and supervisors and folks working about 18 to 20 hours a day actually on our fleet in order to keep the availability high. And the more hours you fly, the more demand there's going to be on those resources, which means there's going to need more maintenance. And for a Cessna 172, for every 50 hours of extra flying time, you have to do an extra inspection. That inspection is 4 to 5 man-hours of work. So every single one of our Cessnas flew about 50 hours more than they normally do in the month of September and October. And we can think we have 51 Cessnas right now. Multiply that number and you can see how many extra man-hours are required on the fleet. We added technicians quickly this past summer. We decided, okay, we're going to need more technicians in order to make this work. And we have 5 positions out there and 1 supervisor position. We still have 2 positions that we're working on filling, hopefully the end of this month, or the end of this week actually. The challenge with positions is just like pilot hiring, maintenance hiring is really taking off, and there is a maintenance shortage as well. So it's not 100% easy just to fill these maintenance positions. We want to make sure we have the best people always working on our fleet as well. So, but you can see in this chart by far the hours in purple there. The man hours worked on our fleet is significant over years past. So what have we done to increase the fleet? I get a lot of that. Well, you're short airplanes, buy more. Well, we have, and I wish they could be here today. Okay, last spring, early last spring, we ordered 9 additional Cessna 172s from Textron. But because of the enormous demand worldwide, these aircrafts are very, very hard to get right now. Not just new aircraft, but used aircraft are very hard to get. So ordering a new airplane right now, the wait is about a year if you want a new Cessna 172. Last year we ordered these and they will be delivered. 9 Cessnas will be delivered to us in January of 2019. In addition, this summer we purchased 2 from somebody else who had decided they didn't want the Cessnas that Textron was building for them. We purchased them from them right off the assembly line and got those in late August. So we have added those 2 this past August. We also reached out to everybody who's bought, every private owner who has a Cessna 172, 2008 or newer, and offered them short-term lease options. Textron helped us with this effort as well, reaching out to all of their partners. And this got us 3 additional aircraft that we have on the flight line right now since April and May for short-term leases, aircraft we don't own but we're operating, new good Cessna 172s. We've been unsuccessful in getting any more short-term leases, but we have not stopped trying to do that. We did order another 2 aircraft on top of the 9 we had already ordered in June, and they will be delivered by spring break of this year. So we have definitely worked hard to look for aircraft, to add aircraft to the fleet. Our Prescott campus recently sent us 1 aircraft from their fleet in order to help us increase the availability to everybody in the system. And we've also increased the maintenance side of the house. So and we continue to work on ways to increase efficiencies in that area. So we've been working on this for some time. The aircraft are very hard to get. We will increase the fleet from 62 aircraft right now to 71 in January of 2019 and 73 in March. We feel that will be sufficient enough for the amount of students we're carrying. Again, we've improved on maintenance, increasing the maintenance staff and changing the scheduling. Maintenance has worked overtime in order to make aircraft available for students. And between the new scheduling system, the increased student motivation, increased retention in students, the demand is very high right now, higher than we had expected for sure. We will continue to do everything that we can in order to provide all of you with the safest, highest quality, most professional flight training in the world. Our goal is to provide you all the highest level of customer service possible and get you through your training efficiently at a high level of quality at a low cost.